Epictetus beautifully stated, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." If you want to lead a happy life, free from an excessive amount of internal afflictions, you must realize that certain things are under your control and others are not. We should focus our attention on the things that we can control and disregard the ones that we can't. The thoughts and judgments of others might be one of the biggest worries a person can have. It is almost a given that you will be impacted by them, either negatively or even positively. You must acknowledge that you have no influence over other people's ideas, judgments, or any other kind of personal assault if you genuinely wish to avoid being impacted by others. The manual, A Philosopher's Guide to Life by Epictetus, instructs us on what to do if we are the target of an offense. So let's dive in and discuss 6 key lessons to ensuring you maintain a steady mental state and how to get to a place where their opinions cannot hurt you. Number 1. Maintain firm beliefs. We need to grasp this concept in order to prevent other people's opinions from influencing us. To do this, we need to have strong values and a basic comprehension of philosophy. You should be ready to face criticism from people right away that don't want to see you evolve. Get ready for others to ask you questions such as, "Where did this new attitude come from?" Or, "Suddenly, he became a philosopher." Remember that those who formerly mocked you will eventually come to respect you if you stick to your principles. This idea is especially crucial as a lot of individuals ignore their own dreams and ambitions in an effort to appease other people's opinions. Epictetus reminds us that we won't fail because we tried and didn't succeed, but we will fail if we let the dread of other people's views affect our aim. It is worthwhile staying true to your values, even in the face of temporary ridicule or doubt. Ultimately, doing this will allow you to live in accordance with your inherent nature. I advise you to consider this the next time you have to make a decision in your life. Think about your priorities and determine the real motivation behind your decisions, making sure they are not negatively affected by outside opinions. Number 2. Other opinions cannot hurt you. This might seem like a strange statement, but we will examine the attacker's motivation when analyzing this second principle. It teaches us that we shouldn't expect everyone to behave in a way that aligns with your moral principles or worldview. Is it really possible to believe that everyone shares your perspective in life? This is something we should always consider when interacting with others. If someone attacks you, seriously consider the following. What is your motive? What do you believe? What was the reason behind your actions? The only person who truly knows the truth about you is you. Therefore, if a stranger offends you in any manner, you need to ask yourself, was my behavior wrong? If the response is no, consider if you can comprehend any other viewpoint they might have to make them think this way. Since you are the only one in the world who truly knows yourself, you should accept that you cannot always understand other people's motives. When you behave appropriately, you shouldn't feel guilty about it. As Epictetus stated, what upsets people is not the things themselves, but their judgment about the things. Therefore, if you are confident in your own motives, other people's views cannot and shouldn't hurt you. Number 3, act according to your best judgment. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have the power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So if you are not being controlled by outside events, it's more important than ever to live and act according to your own best judgment. Even though some people could have a negative impression of what we're doing, we shouldn't be afraid to be seen behaving in accordance with our ideals and values. If we're behaving morally and in alignment with our true self, there's no reason to fear their misinterpretation. This also holds true for using social media, as we frequently let other people's approval or popularity determine how happy we are, which makes us act in ways that appease others rather than choosing our own course. Be brave and use your own internal beacon to help make decisions and be free from other people's influence. You will find it liberating. Number 4. Self-control when insulted. Epictetus says, "If someone succeeds in provoking you, remember that your mind is complicit in the provocation. Thus, remember that when someone offends you, it's your own viewpoint that's upsetting you. First and foremost, make an effort not to be influenced by outside influences. With time and composure, self-control will become more manageable. Knowing that an insult or offense is not intrinsically hurtful is one of the keys to not caring what other people think. When someone insults you or treats you disrespectfully, the emotional pain that follows and the offense really stems from how we interpret it. Consider that the only way this insult may hurt you is if you let it. Ask yourself, do I want to give up to forces beyond my control? If you are able to remain unfazed by the insult, you will have a sense of superiority and the ability to persevere in the face of difficulty. You can undoubtedly recall a situation in which, despite your best efforts, a hurtful remark ruined your day or even whole week. Let me start by saying that I know how you feel, since everyone has experienced this at some point. But I encourage you to stay watching because we'll cover 2 more strategies to handle this next time it happens. Number 5. Accept others will judge you. If someone hurts you or speaks poorly of you, keep in mind that they are acting under the assumption that they have the right to do so. It is impossible to assume that everyone would act in a way that is in your best interests, especially if they are making judgments based on false perceptions. They are the ones who hurt themselves by making this mistake. Be patient with the individual who is judging you and keep reminding yourself of this. How often have you done something that you really didn't want to do in order to win someone over? We ought to question ourselves if altering our true selves to meet someone else's viewpoint is worth it. Is it worthwhile putting our emotional well-being in the hands of others? Absolutely not. One of the key ideas of Stoicism is to learn to be unaffected by things that are out of your control and strive to change those that are. When it comes to insults, keep in mind that no one can harm you unless you let them. Not everyone can behave in a way that you deem appropriate. Therefore, if someone makes a mistake and criticizes you based on a false viewpoint, they are the ones who hurt themselves. Thus, be patient with the individual who offends you and tell yourself that's simply how they think. Number 6. Exercise high control. Epictetus taught us that it was important to know oneself and have internal control over thoughts and emotions. He believed that mastering this would allow for determining what is good and what is evil, which leads to better and healthier choices as a person. He also stated, "We must have the same respect for our mind as we do for our body, in order to stop an insult becoming an offense. For example, you wouldn't think twice about letting an angry stranger walk into your home. I'm confident you wouldn't let them in. However, we might allow someone we don't know to enter our minds and remain there for a few days when we get an insult and take it personally as an offense. The accumulation of discipline and self-control is necessary to reach a point when we are able to overlook the bad emotions that result from an unprovoked verbal attack. Use this in all aspects of life, including family dynamics. Control your anger, as it will save a great deal of needless pain and help you feel more comfortable with yourself. Trust me, this will have a big impact with some practice. To summarize, the biggest lesson on this topic is to remember that the judgments of others might just be one of the biggest worries a person can have in this modern world. You must remember that you have no influence over other people's ideas, thoughts, and even insults, so you must practice the Stoic approach to remaining calm and consistent in your own beliefs and philosophy. Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey on Stoicism, and please like and subscribe for more content. Thank you.